Now, your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
78 degree air temperature, dew point value coming in at 77. Winds have been somewhat variable over the last hour just because of a thunderstorm out in Gulf waters that are now northwest coming in at about 5. But generally, we have an easterly wind flow that will continue through the morning hours, giving us little chance of rainfall till we get to the afternoon. In the afternoon, we'll have a chance of rainfall starting first in inland areas, and then those showers will slowly drift back to the coastline as our sea breeze begins to collapse and our east wind that we will have established will continue to blow. So right now there's our thunderstorm out in the Gulf. It has produced some pretty big lightning pops, some multiple lightning strikes over the course of the last hour. It's kind of in the dissipating stage now, but nevertheless it's still out there, and it is impacting our wind directions. So Florence has not increased in intensity. In fact, it has decreased a little bit in intensity, but it's still very well formed. It's moving over warmer waters. It'll have less shear out ahead of it, less winds that are hostile to hurricanes. So consequently, with all those favorable conditions, it should intensify once again to at least 140 mile an hour or better wind speeds. We have a trough of low pressure located back to the west and a big ridge of high pressure that will continue to build in. As that high builds in, the forward speed of Florence will slow. As it slows, it'll allow plenty of opportunity to sling rain showers back toward the coastline and to build storm surge as well. Forecast tracks have this high pressure ridge kind of nudging it a little bit further to the south now, and so perhaps we'll see a landfall in South Carolina as opposed to North Carolina. It's still early and still some adjustments to the track will take place. An easterly wind for us continues to blow. That east wind pattern will be with us for several days. Hopefully it'll help some of the red tide sufferers right along the coastline, and certainly it'll affect the timing of our storm with the showers coming later in the day as opposed to in the morning. Florence advances, and Isaac, our second storm we're watching, weakens. Florence with 130 mile an hour winds continues to be forecast to maybe take a little bit more of a dip to the south with time and perhaps decrease in intensity just a little bit before making landfall to perhaps a Category 2 storm. Still 100 mile an hour winds, onshore wind flow over a large chunk of South Carolina and North Carolina coastline means some very serious problems. The forecast tracks are actually tending a little further to the south, so it's possible we can see that track adjustment nudged even further to the south with time. Here is the rainfall forecast, and you can see plentiful amounts of rainfall all up and down the coastline of North Carolina and South Carolina, perhaps 20 inches plus, and storm surge values, especially up in the inland rivers of North Carolina, approaching 15 feet perhaps. That may be adjusted as we get a new track guidance, and this surge forecast that you're seeing here is getting a little old now considering that the forecast track has changed. North wind coming in at about 10 knots. We'll look for today about a 20% chance of rain. That holds true again tomorrow as well. Daytime highs both days about 91. Timing of the storms later in the afternoon. And then as we head into the weekend, perhaps Florence's effect may actually dry us out just a little bit on Saturday. And then some of the rain showers from Florence may sling back this direction as we head into Monday and Tuesday of next week. Of course, it just means scattered rain showers.